everybody, it's Kelsee Briana J, and today I'm going to be doing a full face of Dior makeup using their new product launches. And Dior has been coming out with so many different things. I picked up their eyeshadow quins from their summer collection. I have their new foundation, face powders, bronzer, highlighter. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I will give you all more details about each product as I'm using them, and I hope that you all enjoy. So here's the look that we're doing using the Mirage Quint. Let me take out these little things. They're gonna fall out anyways. I'm gonna take a blending brush in this shade right here. I'm gonna take this shade directly underneath my transition shade, which I used my new Dior bronzer for that. It's very shimmery. It's not giving too much depth, but this is what I got from that. You all can see the difference there. It has a little bit of that shimmery tannish quality to it. Now I'm going to take the same brush with this shade right here. And I'm going to pop that right on the outer corner and then blend it over. Okay. Really pretty and flirty type shade. It's not too dark. It's giving just a hint of a pinkish, peachy type shade. Next I'm going to go right in the middle. Take this shade right here. Now I have a flat shader. I'm going to pop that right on the inner corner. Ooh, that's like a shifter type shade. I'm going to take a little bit of that right underneath my brow too. And blend it down. And I'm going to move on over and take a little bit of that shade right there. Pop that a little bit further on the lid. I'm not going to take it above my crease, but I am going to blend it next to that inner tear ducts color. And lastly, I'm going to take a bit of this shade right here and pop that right next to it. So there we have it. I'm going to go ahead and add liner and lashes, and I'll be right back. So let's finish off our look. I'm going to go back into this middle shade. Pop that down on the lower inner corner. And across the rest, I'm going to take a bit of the darker portion of this shade right here, as much as I can get, and take that all the way across the rest of the lower lash line. So here's the finished look of me using the Mirage Quint. So first things first, let's put on our foundation. So I'm just going to take some on this foundation brush. This one is the Clé de Peau foundation brush. And I am going to begin to stipple this on. So it says it's a lightweight foundation that offers 24-hour wear. Because it has 96% natural origin ingredients and concentrated floral skincare. Fresh and lightweight, the Dior Forever Natural Nude Foundation's texture offers a natural and luminous finish with a no mask-like effect, allowing the skin to breathe. I do feel like I need a little bit more. So let me go ahead and add some more on this side. Remember, we're not looking for full coverage. We're not looking for flawlessness. We're just looking for an evenness in tone and a nice, natural, fresh look. Okay, I think it looks nice and fresh like it says. It gives a little bit more coverage than a typical light coverage foundation would. So I would say it's a light to medium buildable foundation because I see a little bit of my imperfections, but for the most part, I feel like they've been covered up. I think it gave me a really beautiful glow and it feels pretty lightweight on the skin. I do know that I have something on my skin, but it feels very comfortable. So here's what it looks like. So before I do my eyes, I have got to put on some lip gloss. And I bought this lip gloss because it was a part of the collection. And let's see what it looks like. Okay. Smells like cotton candy, always. It's basically clear. It's not giving a whole lot of that iridescence like what I see in the packaging. I can kind of feel the shimmer particles, but not really. It has a little bit of a gel-like texture, but it's not heavy and it doesn't feel gloopy or anything like that. But I wish I could see the sparkle more. Let me add a little bit more. I can see a little bit of sparkle, just a little bit. Let's zoom in and let's do our eyes. So for this eye look, I'm going to use the Dune Quint, but since I don't have any matte eyeshadow in there, I am going to take my bronzer by Dior and add that in the crease. So I'm just going to take a swirl of this and go directly in the crease with it. And this is going to give me a little bit of definition right in that crease area so everything isn't so sparkly. So just back and forth. That bronzer is smooth. Look at that. That can be a look all by itself. So now let's jump into the Dune Quint. I'm going to go ahead and take those out before they fall out. And I'm going to take a bit of this color right down here in the bottom And I'm going to take that right underneath that bronzer shade that I just applied, because this gives me a little bit of a bronzy glow as well. So next I'm going to go into this shade right here. I'm going to take that on the outer corner and then blend it over. It's a really pretty golden amber shade. It's very, very light. Now I'm going to take the same brush with this golden shade, and I'm going to move a little bit further into the inner portion of the lid. Oh, this shade is beautiful. It's kind of giving me sunset. I'm going to go into this center shade, and I'm going to take that on the inner portion. Oh my gosh, this shade is beautiful. Y'all, I love a white gold anyways. I feel like that just lightened up the entire look. So I'm going to take one of my favorites, the Dior Forever Skin Corrects Concealer. I'll go ahead and get a little bit of that here. And where the foundation didn't give me coverage, I can make up for that with the concealer, and you can too. Anytime you use a lightweight foundation, if you need a little bit more, you don't have to rely solely on the foundation. You can add more, you know, with your concealer. So I'm just going to blend that out. I'm going to go ahead and set that with my Laura Mercier powder, which is one of my faves. So now that I have that applied, now I'm going to apply my Backstage powders. And I have two shades. I have 3N and 4N. I bought two because I wasn't sure which one I wore. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with 3N first. I'm just going to pick that up with my brush, and I'm just going to dust that over where I just applied the translucent powder. And Dior says that this powder blurs out imperfections, it reduces shine, and it visibly evens out the complexion for a luminous matte finish. It's a powder, but it's in a gel base, so I automatically see where my skin looks a little bit more radiant with using this powder, and it doesn't look as dulled down like how your skin can look if you use a regular powder sometimes. I'm going to go in with 4N now and take that on the perimeter of my face and blend it down, just so I can start to create a little bit more depth. So I put on a little bit of eyeliner, and I just did mascara today because I'm not really in the mood for lashes. But I feel like my lashes look pretty dang on good. So now let's finish off our eye look. And I'm going to dip back into this middle shade again, pop that on the lower inner corner. And then I'm going to take this shade and pop that all across the rest of the eye. And make sure to connect it to the top. So now let's get into this bronzer. I have the shade 06 Amber Bronze. And it's a really nice warm toned bronzer. I honestly feel like I can go either a shade up or a shade down if I wanted to. Especially if the next shade is a little bit more golden. It has wild pansy flowers, so it just really blends in seamlessly to the skin. Plus this packaging is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Next is the highlighter that came out with the summer collection that I absolutely was not going to buy, because I felt like it looked like another highlighter that I bought from another Dior summer collection a few years ago. But I got on Marco Polo, and Alicia was showing us the Dior collection. I already had what I was going to buy, or so I thought. And I'm like, you know what, I'm good. But then she started showing the highlighter, and I was like, dang, if I call one Dior boutique and they have the highlighter, I will go ahead and order it. That's what I said to myself. Because I was like, I really don't need it, because I felt like it looks really similar to this one. This one is the Lolly Glow highlighter. I don't know when I bought it. I want to say it was like 2 or 3 years ago. And I'm like, it's a golden peachy highlighter. Do I really need it? But then I started looking at it, and I felt like it looks different, which it is a little bit different. It's a little bit deeper. It leans more pink than the Lolly Glow highlighter, which to me leans a little bit more golden peach. So needless to say, I found it at that first Dior boutique, and I just ordered it. So let's go ahead and apply it. Woo! Look at that. I love their highlighters. I just feel like they make some of the best of the best. I could use it as a blush topper if I want to, or I could just wear it as a highlighter like how I intended on wearing it. It's smooth, it's radiant, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And here's the finished look using everything. Let's talk about it. Dior is one of my favorite brands for a reason, and that's because they consistently put out really great products and everything just gels together and works in unison. I feel like this look is really pretty. It's a very nice everyday type look, and I enjoyed my other eyeshadow look that I did as well. So let's talk about the products individually, and let's start off with the highlight because that's what I have sitting here right in front of me. And I'm so glad that I picked up this highlighter. I always enjoy Dior highlighters. I always have. I wish they still came in that really nice hefty packaging that they used to give. Back in the day, Dior used to give us a really heavy highlighter, and it came with a little brush, but you know, they don't do that anymore because it probably wasn't cost efficient. But I still enjoy it. Their highlighter formula is smooth, it's glowy, it has a really nice sheen to it without it being obnoxious, and I love the shades that they select. Like I said, I did feel like it's a little similar to the one that I had last time, but it's just a hair different. To be honest, if you already have the one from the Lolly Glow collection, then you don't need to have this one. Once you get it on the cheeks, it's gonna look super similar, but it is different enough to justify getting it if you do enjoy their highlighters and you regularly use them. So I'm happy to have this. Thanks Alicia for talking me into it, but not really. Like, she kind of did, but she didn't know she was doing it. So yeah, this bronzer is the bomb. It is so smooth. It has a really nice sheen to it, but it's still matte. So it's kind of like an oxymoron. It's a radiant matte and it sculpts the face without being too harsh, and you don't have to worry about messing up. Plus, like I said, this packaging had me from the jump. I absolutely have to get another shade. I got the shade 06. I actually think this will be better suited for those of you all who have a bit of a deeper complexion than me. If you are my shade though, I think you need to get 05 because it probably has a little bit more of a golden quality to it. But formulation wise, beautiful. This lip gloss, I like the lip gloss. I feel like it's a really nice cushiony texture, but do I feel like you need to have this lip gloss? I don't. It really pulls clear on me with just a hint of shimmer. It's a nice topper gloss to wear on top of something else, because on me I can barely see the shift like what I see in the packaging. I wish that it was a little bit more opaque and I can see the gold and the pink shift a little bit more on the lips. So since you can't, eyeshadow quints. Alright, I really don't feel like you need to have these simply because the opacity that they give is so sheer. Unless you are a die-hard collector of Dior collections, or if you're a major fan of sheer eyeshadows, then go for it. I do feel like I could have achieved the looks that I got with both of these quints with any of my other eyeshadows that I already have in my collection, just because it is so sheer. I could go in with a light hand with any gold eyeshadow or any bronzy type eyeshadow and achieve that. I don't feel like these looks are specific to these quints. Plus, I did feel like the formulation of these was just a little bit hard to work with, simply because it has this really beautiful design where the eyeshadows have different shades in it. So it's almost like it's mixed around and it's kind of splotchy, but it adds to the artistic value of the way that they look in the pan. But if you're trying to get consistent color, that can be a little bit difficult because you have to make sure you hit your brush in the same spot every time when you're blending. That way you have continuity with the color that's on one eye to the other eye. And I also felt like the formulation of the eyeshadow was just a little bit drier, so I experienced a bit of fallout, and I did have to pack on this eyeshadow a little bit more than I would have liked to. I much prefer their regular eyeshadow quint formulation that they've reformulated to have in the past year. I feel like those are so much better than these, and with these I was looking for that powder gelée formula, that hybrid that I love so much that Tom Ford gives us. That's what I was looking for. That's not really what we got here. This is still pretty much a traditional powder, but it looks cool in the pan. So I will say I enjoy looking at it more than I enjoy using it. Next is the foundation. I feel like this is a really nice foundation for summer that you can throw on and get a good amount of coverage from. Because even though it says it's a lightweight foundation, it still gave a little bit of oomph which is what I like. I like makeup. So I don't absolutely have to have the most natural looking makeup out there, because if I did, then I would just go with moisturizer and keep it pushing. So I like to see a little bit of coverage on my face, and I feel like this gave me the perfect amount for a light coverage foundation. They give really good complexion products. They make some of my absolute favorites, and this one is amazing. So I can definitely see myself reaching for this for the summer. It's not a transfer proof formulation, even though it did say it will last for 24 hours. I feel like they're saying that you can get a beautiful look for 24 hours, but it's not necessarily waterproof, nor is it transfer resistant. So just keep that in mind, especially in the summertime. We're going outside, you're still wearing masks and all that good stuff like that. This will transfer because it has a little bit of that sheen there, but it's not super glowy to the point where it feels heavy on the skin and it just feels like it's sitting on top of the skin. I definitely feel like it dried down just a little bit. Plus, with me setting it with the powder helped a lot. So I would recommend for you all to set this with the powder, preferably the new Dior powder, because I feel like these formulations just work in unison with each other. So beautiful. I love the finish of my face. It looks glowy, but it's not overly glowy to where I'm going to look just super oily as the hours progress. And lastly, that brings me to this face and body powder, which is magical. It's so pretty. It is so smoothing. It's mattifying, but like I said, it's a radiant matte because it gives you such a beautifully smooth finish to the skin. It glides on. It looks gorgeous. It gives you a little bit of radiance there, but you can tell that it sets your makeup, and that's what I love so much. And I have two shades. I could go with either or just because the finish of it is a little bit more sheer. But for me, if I had to choose, I would go with 3N over 4N. You wouldn't think that these two shades correlate with one another. This one is 4N in the foundation. This one is 4N in the powder. This shade correlates with the original Face and Body foundation more than it does this one. Powder's bomb though. I 100% recommend trying it. It doesn't even matter if you're not a powder person. You still need to try it, because as a matter of fact, I would recommend for you to try it if you're not a powder person, because this is probably the type powder that you need. It gives you a little bit of a setness to your foundation, but it's not going to mattify and it's not going to add texture. It's just going to give you a really beautiful soft finish, and these are spectacular. So I look forward to reading what you guys have to say down in the comments section, and I will check you out in my very next video, which will be super soon. Smooches. Bye.